3 years ago, I moved into the space and I made a studio tour for you back then, and I wanted to update you today on all of the stuff that has changed since then. So in case you hadn't figured it out, that warehouse that you see at the beginning of all of my videos in the drone shot is the warehouse where my studio is located here in Chicago. And it's been 3 years since I gave you guys a tour of the space, so I wanted to show you sort of what the biggest changes were in the space since then. If you're interested and you kind of see some things that I kind of gloss over today and you're wondering what those are, I'm going to link to all of the gear down in the description, so you can definitely check that out. I'll also link up here to this tour that I did 3 years ago when I moved into the space, so that you can see probably some of that gear in that video as well. So this is the area where my clients get ready, and that hasn't changed a whole lot, but back here in this section, I originally had these two shelves back there where I stored all of my gear, and that worked out pretty well, but it was a little bit of an eyesore. So I ended up moving that across the room and then opened this space up over here to build this set. And I built this set back here for about $250. I actually did a video where I used it for the very first time a few weeks ago. I'll link to that if you want to check out that video so that you can see what it was like building it. But I built it back here so that I would have sort of a LinkedIn type headshot studio set where I could do business headshots. That was my main intent. Although, of course, the first time I used it was with a model and it was very dramatic, but my main point or goal in building it was to have something that looked like an office lobby. So I think I've accomplished that here. And then I've just moved these chairs over here, which I've actually had for a while now. They were in a different studio, the studio before this as well, and they were on the set I'm about to show you. And this set over here, the next one, I built this when I moved in, and originally it was green, and I made a very long video that was all about how I built it, if you want to check that video out as well. But about a year ago, I repainted it gray using a paint sprayer, and I've got these lights back here that I hung up a few weeks ago, and those are just there to be practical lights that can be really cool in the background on a dimmer, and I can move them out of the way if I want to. And I also added this brown couch over here and got rid of the green chairs, which you just saw a second ago. So I feel like that's going to give me some really nice different surfaces. I felt like before, all the stuff that I had for people to be posed in looked very old and industrial and rustic or warehousey, and I wanted to make things that looked a little nicer and cleaner as my style evolved. So those are some of the changes that I've made. Back in this section, I've got my main 9-foot backdrops that I use, and then I've got some storage behind them. Then over here, I have two of the biggest additions that I've made to the studio since in the last 3 years. And that is this Kupo Big Boom. So this has gears in it. It will allow me to manipulate the light that's at the end in any position that I want. And I can get it in that position and hold it there, which is just really a dream come true. And on top of that, I've got it sitting here on top of my Studio Titan crank stand. So with a little bit of pressure, I can move it up or down. It'll go all the way up to the ceiling. I can get it out there over some dancers. It'll sit, it'll stay. It's so much better than what I was doing before, which was using a boom and a C-stand and a grip arm to try to get those lights into position. And pretty much my Electron 190 centimeter or 75-inch Octabox lives on there because it's big and heavy. Then I also have this boom over here, and if you're a videographer, it's sort of a jib style boom from Studio Titan, or a parallelogram, if you will, and it's counterweighted so that I can pretty much loosen it and let go and it will stay put. And so I can put a smaller modifier at the end. Maybe it's a hair light, maybe it's a beauty dish, and I can just move it up or down very easily just by adjusting the boom arm. And that's worked out really well for me too. And I also have that on a Studio Titan crank stand. Then here in the Studio Titan tour is what it feels like. I've got my Studio Titan camera stand over here, which I absolutely love. And then I just got this from Teather Tools. It's an AreoTrac laptop station or tethering station, and that's going to allow me to have a very secure place to work when I'm on location. So it has all of these hooks on the bottom that will allow you to put things on there like their tether cable. Also, it has this cup holder, which is going to be great for keeping my light meter in when I'm on location. But the other thing is that I can just sort of use this ball head under here and tip it out of the way so that I can load in and out. I won't leave the laptop on here when I do that, but at least it's going to go right out of the way and I'll be able to move gear in and out of the studio or in and out of the building that I'm working in, and then I'll have a nice, good place to tether, and I won't have to worry about my laptop getting ripped off of the top of this rock and roller cart, which I absolutely love as well, especially when going on location. Then I've got some, I guess I love it for location. Then I've got some large modifiers over here. I've got my old Hollywood movie lights, if you will, that are from Mole Richardson stored in this section. And then I have my dining table over here in the middle. Originally, it was further and closer to that wall over there, but I moved it here in the middle just to open up the space a little bit, and I think that's working out really well. Then the other big change in the studio is all the way on the other side of the room. And this corner back here is where I have my sets for my painted backdrops. So I have a rack up there that holds 6 painted backdrops, 3 in the front and 3 in the back. The reason for that is that painted backdrops are only about 3 meters long, give or take. In the other corner, I have a rack that holds 6 backdrops. If I used a 6-rack backdrop over here, I would lose another foot off of these painted backdrops, and it really wouldn't leave me enough room to work. So in this section, I have 3 on the front side and 3 on the back side, and that works out really well. But if I pull on this chain over here, you'll see the big change in the room. And that is that I relocated all of the storage that was over there into this part of the studio, and it's tucked away behind the painted backdrops, which I can still move up and down and use, and I can still access it. But the good thing is when I have the backdrop down, my clients won't see it, and I feel like before it was really kind of untidy in here with all of these things sitting on the shelf in disarray, and I think things are going to look a lot nicer moving forward. If you want to stay tuned though, for a few weeks from now, I'm going to review Satellite 3D's 3.0. It's their latest version of the software, and I use it to model my entire studio. And on top of that, you can use it to simulate lighting in your computer. You don't have to set up in a studio like this one, and you can learn right there in the software. So I'm going to review that in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day and a great holiday season, and I'll talk to you soon.